that we're just a hiccup away from being discovered as somebody who doesn't belong, somebody who doesn't have the skills, somebody who doesn't have the competence, the preparedness, the education, the experience. Most of us live in that fear of, the no talent police are on to me. I'm not as smart as everybody thinks I am. Now, I'm guessing that if you're here and you read that in the description, it's because that resonates with you. And I'm not going to ask you to say, yes, that's why I'm here, but the fact that you're here kind of gave me the clue. But if you hear that voice in your head, it sometimes is irrelevant to what your accomplishments are, because what the imposter syndrome is, it's an inability to look at the objective information that describes your qualifications. Your qualifications, your accolades, your awards, your competencies. You look at that and you think, that's not really me. Or it was an accident, or it was a stroke of luck, or I was in the right place at the right time, or somebody liked me, so they did that for me. It's an inability to own your success. That's what the imposter syndrome is. Now that's a description of what it is. The good thing is that I'm not so much there anymore. I mean, I still hear that imposter voice in my head. I've learned to turn the volume down. Would you like to turn the volume down? Because there's strategies that I've developed that have become really simple, really effective, but they're very simple. So if you hear that voice in your head, there's hope. We're going to turn that volume down a little bit. So there's 4 strategies to help you overcome it. The first strategy is you've got to get an education. You've got to learn what the imposter syndrome is. Now, show of hands. Who has never heard of the imposter syndrome before? Good. I want to keep those hands up really high. Great. About maybe almost between a half and 2/3. Okay, hands down. Who of you have said, even as I've spoken here, said, I didn't know what it was called, but boy, is that me. Yeah. Yeah. When I discovered what this topic was, I felt like, oh, yes, that's me. I understand that. Now, the imposter cycle looks like this. You show up for work, and typically it's a job that you have that is not choreographed, not scripted, not routine, not regular, not predictable. So we're not talking about line workers. We're not talking about people that are in a very structured day-to-day, it's, gotta go make the donuts. For those of us that are at my era. I have to explain that to some of my younger audiences. So you show up to work, new day ahead of you, new challenges, and you think, oh my gosh, you get a project or an assignment or you have a deadline, and you do one of 2 things. You either over-prepare. I mean, failure is not an option, so you dot every I and you cross every T and you uncover every obstacle and you turn over every rock and you do everything you can to do a good job. You over-prepare. Or you procrastinate to the very last minute. You think, well, I'm not really sure exactly how to handle that, so I just won't. I'll wait. And then the pressure gets more and more, and the deadline comes closer, and you're like, now I gotta really get busy. And then at the last possible moment, you look a lot like the over-preparer. You kick in the high gear, and you are a maniac of work. You are losing sleep. You are losing meals. You're losing weight. You're just doing everything. You're nighttime, daytime. You're working as crazy, and you get it done. And the thing about the over-preparer and the procrastinator is that the result, exactly the same. You knock it out of the park. It's awesome! And everybody is like, woohoo! You're amazing! How did you do it? I've never seen such great work. You are amazing. And you're like, you're relieved, but it's not because you did a good job. You're relieved because, phew, that was close. They almost figured out that I didn't really know what I was doing, but somehow I did enough to make them think I did. So your relief is not because you're proud of what you did. You're more like, oh, whew, that was a close call. But the downside of it is when you're in that mode, you can't enjoy the success because now what you're thinking of is, oh my gosh, I got to do it again. So the cycle perpetuates. It's that imposter cycle. Does that resonate with any of you? Yeah. I won't tell you when I started working on this presentation. I'll leave it to you to decide whether I over-prepared or procrastinated, because I did one of them.